All right, guys, here is the tutorial on how to navigate this programming template. Okay, this is going to be something you can make 100% yours, and you'll follow this tutorial to give you how to navigate this thing, and you will learn how to work it with speed. That's what was going to save you a ton of time on the back end, and I want to make sure I explain everything from top to bottom. And once you get used to it, the more you use it, the more you'll get used to it. There's kind of a workflow that goes with this. So let's start with this. All right, you're going to get this template, and you're going to have 3 tabs. Okay, you're going to have the 3-day blank template. Okay, so this is like what we're going to use as our blank template here. And then you're going to have your player database, which also has training maxes. And then you're going to have your exercise index or your exercise library, whatever you want to call it. Okay, first place we're going to start is our player info. All right, so in this here is where you're going to enter all your names. Okay, you already got your panes locked to where you can scroll, and you'll always be able to see your names and your categories. Okay, so here I'm using the Buccaneers roster just as a place filler. I've got the name here, and then I've got year, so like what grade they're in, what position they play. You can even put what group they're in, so if it's like group or even class, right? So if they're in first period, second period, third period, this is how you could sort that. That way you can look at it on the card and you can put it in different files, or like what rack you want them to be on. You can put all this stuff right here. You've got column 6 and column 7 to play with in case there's another category that you might like. That's just there for a filler. Okay, what's also good about all this is that these little triangles will allow you to sort this, right? So if you really only wanted to see, for example, only 11th graders, you press OK, only 11th graders will pop up. All of this stuff is going to go with it, okay? So that's just an easy way. It's a filtering process there, okay? And you can always sort things, alphabetical order there as well. Over here, okay, we'll get to all this stuff in a minute, all the stuff that's over here, okay? I just want to show this is where you need to start. If you want to brand, okay, you can put this here. Like, for example, I could type in Tampa Bay Bucks. If I wanted to put a logo inside of this, you can go copy an image wherever you have your logo saved. Just press Command V or Control V, copy and paste it. So it's just sitting out here. I'm going to click on this cell. There's some dots right here. You can click and put image in cell. So there you go. Now that's there. If you want to put branding, okay, you can do that wherever you want to go. All right. So I'm going to just delete that. So for now, just so you can see. Okay, after you put in all your guys' names and year, position, anything you want there as far as personal information you may want to sort by, or you may want to put on their card that there's going to be a place where you can select from these things, you're going to move on to your exercise index. So here, this is where you're going to list all the exercises that you might use, and then you're going to categorize them however you want to categorize them. It's fully customizable, okay, guys? So you've got any exercise that you may use is in this list right here, okay? Your categories here, all right, are going to come from this, okay? So your categories are going to be selected from this right here. So if you wanted to put cool new category here and put it that it was a abs exercise, that's going to automatically update here. I could find cool new category. This on the label is going to automatically pull from here. And you can edit this. I just put these in here, just for however you want to put them. The only key is with this over here, you won't want it to be like super long because it's going to be on your training card. I'll show that to you in a minute. So you can categorize these however you'd like. Your language is your language. It's not necessarily my language. And then you have some coaching cue notes over here if you wanted to type some things in for reminders. You're also able to sort these. So if I wanted to sort them by right there, if you wanted to sort them by category, you can clear and only pick the ones you want to see. I only want to see my lower body pulls. They're going to pop up. Select all of them. They're there. It's just an easy way to navigate this. Okay, any exercise you use needs to be in this. Okay, it doesn't matter what it's called. If you're going to pull it up on your sheet, it needs to be here. All right, the categories are just something extra. It's going to show up on your sheet to make it easier, not necessarily required. The sheet's not going to not work if you don't do it, but you will not be able to put these exercises in if you do not find these, okay? Anything that's red right here is automated. As you can see, the formula here is already written. You never need to touch this. It'll do it on its own, okay? Anything in red here. After you get done with that, that's when we're going to go to setting up our training maxes. So we're going to go back to player database, and everything here is where they're going to pull to use for percentages whenever you put in percentages. First thing, where you manually input your training maxes. Okay, this is where your core lifts and your tracking maxes are entered. So if you want to manually enter maxes, you put them here. This is anything you test, anything you track, stuff like that. All right. All of these right here are going to pull from your exercise index. So if you wanted to change the power clean, double click, okay, and it's here. Or you can just start typing in, like if I wanted overhead press, barbell overhead press to be one of my main, it's going here. The reason why there's drop down for everything from your exercise index is to make sure everything's consistent, and when formulas pull things, if you have one misspelled word, or if it's slightly different language, or if there's one too many spaces, it won't find it. So that's why this makes this so easy and foolproof. Put in the things you want to, that you know you're going to do. Like these are some main ones here: power clean, deadlift, back squat, hang clean, bench press. You put in, these are just some random numbers I just created randomly. Put them in there, and now everything that you're going to use, okay, if you use power clean, they're going to use this power clean training max. If you trap bar deadlift, going to use this trap bar deadlift training max for your percentages to calculate off of. Now, the cool part about this template, all right, is the training max derivatives, where maybe there's an exercise you don't test, or you may never see a 1-rep max, but you still want to do percentages. You want to do it off one of these main lifts, right? You're going to come over here. Now, anything in red right here already has a formula made out for it, so you will never touch it. All you have to do is touch these things right here. Okay, so for example, a good rule of thumb that I've heard from coaches is that if you back squat and you need an RDL number, you want some numbers to train RDL off of, and you don't have a deadlift number, you want to use 80% of your back squat. So what you would do is you would choose here, okay, any drop down in this gray is going to come from here. So if you change something here, the option is going to show up in here. Okay, so for example, if I put cool lift here, it's going to pop up here, cool lift. If I wanted the cool lift to be what my RDL is off of, I don't really care for the cool lift. I take that away. You'll notice there's a red dot because cool lift's no longer in there. I want it to be off my back squat, so I'm there. All right, RDL, 80% of back squat. Let's say I wanted to change it to 90%. You'll see the numbers have changed. Okay, you can change it to any percent that you may want to work off of. Now that's a training max that will automatically pull. Like I said, none of this needs to be calculated. You've got 100 options to create whatever you want. Any lift that you see that you know you want to work off a certain percentage of, that is there for you. There's nothing special you have to do but just those three things. It'll automatically pull for you. So your core lifts and tracking maxes are here, that it's just manually entered, right? And then over here, if you want to use a lift with percentages that you don't necessarily have a max for, you can calculate a max that's pretty close, a derivative off of it based off of, like for example, front squat. If you don't have a front squat number but you have a back squat number, 85%. Right? If you have a back squat number, but you don't have a front squat number. Okay. One thing that'll also happen here that I've formatted is if there's something over here, if an exercise pops up twice. So let's say like, well, I don't have a back squat number, but we did front squat, right? So we got back squat here. If I type in back squat here, these things are going to pop up red, like, oh, you have a duplicate. Okay, because you can't, if you look up for a back squat number, it can't look up in both places. Okay, so if I wanted to get a back squat number off of front squat, off of my front squat number, so you notice I don't have a front squat number. Okay, so my back squat's wrong. I'm going to delete this, type in front squat. So now notice I have a front squat number here. See how that's two things now? Can't have two, right? Can't have two. So I'm going to delete that. I'm going to delete this front squat here. And I'm going to put in back squat. I want to get a back squat number off of my front squat. So let's say this was our front squat numbers. Okay, and we want to start back squatting now that we're done front squatting. Okay, usually you can get off of your front squat. Your back squat is usually going to be somewhere like 120%. So you can back squat more than you can front squat. So your back squat is going to operate off of 120% of your front squat. You can start there, vice versa, right? So let's switch those back. Say I want back squat. It's going to show me I have a duplicate. That's fine. I'm going to go back here to front squat, and put it off my back squat of 80 because that's what I already had implemented in here. So all this stuff's going to pull, right? You can just do this. If you want some suggestions on that, you can reach out to me, or you can make this whatever you want, but it all starts in your exercise index, okay? It starts in your exercise index, and no matter what it is, everything will move. These things will move with whatever name. So it doesn't matter if you sort or not. None of these things will get out of place as long as you don't mess with the formula. After you've got your training maxes done, you are now ready to program, okay, and look into the program process. So you got your blank template here, okay, and the first thing you're going to do is you're going to make a copy of this template. The reason why you got to make a copy is because you got to have something to pull from. You want to keep a blank one at all times so you can create a new program anytime you want. So I'm going to right-click this. I'm just going to do duplicate. Boom. It's going to create me a copy. I'm going to drag it over here. I'm going to rename it, let's say, to Cycle 1. Boom. Okay, we've got Cycle 1 here. Same thing as far as branding goes. You can put that there, right? You can go get the logo again, copy it, paste it into your sheet, click on this cell, and then click here, put the image in there, and it won't move. Boom. You've got Tampa Bay Bucks now. And we can go from there. All right, so the first thing you want to do that I want to show you is that any athlete you have in your player database is automatically going to be in this dropdown. Okay, and also you can pick things you want to see on your card. I put year, position, group, and rack, but you can also put anything that's in those. Those are automatically dynamic and will change. For example, if I come back to my database in column 6, cool thing. If I type that in, go back to my template, I could have cool thing there if I wanted, but obviously I don't want cool thing. Just wanted to show you and prove to you that it can change. I'm going to type column 6 back so you guys can see it. Okay, so back to our programming. Anything you want there will automatically pull. Notice that these formulas are here. You do not need to touch any of this. You can just change the drop down. It will automatically find it based off the name. Notice if I change the name, everything else changes. Position changes. Gronk plays tight end. Changes. Jason Pierre-Paul. I guess it didn't come over. I guess it's like that. Plays DN. Devin White plays linebacker. Just like that. Okay. All those things will automatically fill in. Okay. Next thing is Cycle 1 here. This is something you can type in whatever you want. This is just to help you label of where it's at. It's just a place for dates for that cycle, just to be able to identify the card. This right here is important. I'll get to this in a minute. Okay, now you got 3 days. Everything in yellow is going to be your exercise, and when you pick that exercise, it's going to pull a train max. Okay, so I'm here. I'm going to find whatever I want. Okay, back squat, because Devin White has a back squat of 225. We've got front squat. If I choose front squat, it's going to give me 180. Notice if we go back to our database, front squat's not in my manual, but over here is where front squat's being calculated. If you find Devin White's name, which is right here, scroll across, boom, he's at 180. Okay, so it automatically finds it for you. Doesn't matter what the exercise is, trap bar deadlift, it's automatically going to pull it over. You don't have to worry about anything. It does it on its own. Then, for each week, you begin programming, all right? The only things you're going to touch is your percentage columns, your set columns, and your rep columns. The weight column is automatically going to calculate for you. So every row is a set. So say I want to do 50, 55, 60, 65, 70. Okay, and I want to do 1 set of 5, 1 set of 5, 1 set of 5, 1 set of 5. Let's say I want to do 3 sets of 5 here. Okay, so I want to do 3 sets of 5 at 70 with a build up. You have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 total sets. Everything's right there. Your players would just read row by row. Automatically got your weights pulled up for you based off your training max. If we changed it to power clean, numbers will automatically change off the training max. If it was trap bar deadlift, automatically changes. Be careful not to try and erase this, okay, because the formulas are already there. Stick to these 3 right here, okay. Supersets, okay, you've got tier A, A2, and A3. If you want up to 2 supersets, same thing. Everything in your exercise index is here, okay. You need to put all of your accessory work and stuff in there too. This right here are typing areas. So on this, 3 sets of 5, maybe you wanted a 4-second tempo, or maybe a reminder or a cue there. Those gray sections are literally just typing places. Same thing for A3. Keep it blank if you want. Okay, it doesn't matter. Week 1 through week 4, every single one is like that. Okay, bench press training max will automatically pop up, and it is like that for all parts of the workout. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tiers. First tier, I believe, has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 columns. Tier B has 6 columns, so does Tier C. Tier D and Tier E only have 4 columns, and then some extra here has 4 columns as well based off what you want to do. Now, you don't necessarily have to write in things such as like percentages, right? Some things might not have percentages. For example, if I go to my exercise index and just go, let's say, hamstring stretch. Or let's do hip flexor, make it the typing shorter, hip flexor. Do the hip flexor stretch. Okay, boom, we're there. We're going to do here stretch total body. So it's going to be a stretch category. We're good. Say I go back to my cycle here. Let's say part of my main extra here wanted to be a hamstring stretch, hip flexor stretch. Notice it has no training max. So it doesn't matter what you do. If you wanted to do, 5 reps or whatever it is, 1 set of 5 here, 1 set of 5, 1 set of 5. Your percentages, like, this doesn't really matter. It's going to have 0 anyway. So you can just put in sets and reps if you don't have something that has a training max that doesn't have weight or something along those lines, which is totally fine. Makes things really flexible. Okay, that's what this is for across the board for 3 days. All right, you program it for a whole month and then you print it. Now, one thing you might be asking is, what about this intensity regulator we talked about? Okay, let's say you have one kid that maybe just came off of a really big workload week. Maybe he's a multi-sport athlete. Let's say we have 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Okay, for 5, 5, 2, 2, 2, for example, right? On trap bar deadlift. If you wanted to back his volume down globally, right, the whole thing, right, instead of having to change his max, you come over here and go, I want you doing 90% of the intensity that you would normally do, training max back down from 230. Now watch again. I'll put it back to 100. His normal training max 255. Let's make his whole sheet 90% of what he normally does. Boom, it's an easy way to back it down if you want. Okay, keep it at 100 if you want it at normal. It's just an easy way to change volume for a specific individual. Now, you're wondering, what about printing, right? You need to print these out. One thing you're going to have to do, these are month cards, is you click somebody's name, click command print, and then you got to move on to the next one. Okay, what makes this cool is that you can copy and paste or duplicate this tab, and you can have multiple programs going on at one time, right? You may have these people grouped a certain way, like skill or line for football players, or maybe post or guards for basketball. Maybe you want 2 programs going on at the same time, and based off of the groups, that's how you can print these off, right? You can label it guards, posts, and you can literally just pick your guards and print, and then pick your posts and print, and now you have sheets for the entire month, and you have specific lists going on for your players. That's totally what makes this so flexible. And guys, it doesn't take that long. One of the people that is prototyping this, Coach Brandon Herring, has been prototyping this for me, and he printed out 53 guys. Said it took him 20 minutes. So you're looking at about 30 seconds a guy. One of the things you need to make sure you do on this is set your printing margins. So I'm going to show you how to do this. Okay. So for example, I have this card here. Okay, we got everything here. It's empty, but I'm going to show you how to print it. I'm going to bring up print. So I press Command P on Mac or Control P. Okay, one thing you're going to see here, let's say if it was just normal and look like that doesn't look right. Like we don't want to print that like this, right? We need to set these right. So on scale, you need to put it to fit the page. Okay, sometimes the margins would be normal and look, it doesn't take up the whole space. Sometimes these page breaks would be all wonky here and would break the page up. So what I would do is make sure the scale is fit to page breaks, okay, because you're going to customize it. Your margins need to be narrow, and then when you edit your page breaks, just make sure that these are filling the whole thing. See how these keep jumping? I'm there. I found this line. Okay, I'm going to take it all the way to the bottom, here. Got that, still got this one here. See, it was all jacked up. All right, you only do this once, and then it's done. Okay, we're here, we're good. Moving it all the way. Looks like we're good there. Oh, got one more. Once you set them once, they're pretty much done. Good, good. Got to keep moving. We're good, we're good. Okay, it looks like we're good. I see no blue lines anywhere else. Fitting the whole thing. Don't press confirm brakes. Make sure my margins are narrow. Fit to the page. Margins are narrow. Okay, now notice. Still doesn't fit the whole page, right? So what I got to do is I need to customize my margins. Okay, if narrow doesn't get it, customize it and notice where we're at. Okay, you can get away with 0.2 for most printers. Probably 0.2 on every single one. This is going to maximize your space and make it most visible. Okay, we're good there. And now you can see that it takes up majority of the page. That printing will come out nice and clear. You press next, it'll send it to your print or however you want to print it. You'll see a preview here. It's going to look pretty good. Okay, see, boom, there it is. Can't really see the top there, but because of where I have this cropped off, but here I can zoom out here. Well, I thought you could. Yeah, well, not all the way. All right. But anyway, you can see it. It's going to be in a really good, nice fit. I'm going to press cancel here, and you can do that. So just to run down, enter your player info. Make sure everything's there. Set up your branding the way you want it on every sheet. You can do that however you want. Enter your exercise library. Okay, put in all your exercises. Okay, categorize them however you want. It doesn't matter. Just know that this drop down is pushing from here. Okay, this column, all right, and this is going to pull from there. That's all it just takes. If you want to categorize the language differently, put in all your languages here, and then you'll be able to pick it from here. Okay, set your training maxes in your player database. Set all the training maxes you have and what exercises you want to manually put in. And then if you have derivatives here that you want to train off percentages for certain things, you can pull them from your main list. Got to have something to pull from. All right. Next thing is your programming process. Remember to make a copy of your template and then name your cycle. And then you will go down one by one picking exercise. What you see here, this is where that pulls, right? If I go dumbbell rows, that's an upper lift. If I go clean, it's total. That's where that's pulling from on that exercise index. Training maxes automatically pull. You don't have to worry about it. Percentages, sets, reps, supersets, typing in sets and reps or wherever cues you want there, and just go week by week, day by day. Okay, sets up here, what exercise I'm doing for 4 weeks. If you only want to do exercise for 2 weeks, you only have to fill out the card for 2 weeks and then copy and paste or duplicate. Duplicate the template, make another phase. You're up to 4 weeks for your phase. You can make as many as you want, okay, for this. If you have any questions, please reach out. Or don't forget about your printing margins to make things easy. And if there's any issues, I will be connected to your programming template so I can help you out. Okay. If you have any questions, please reach out to me and I will help you as soon as possible. Can. Thanks.